I want to tell you a secret that might make you angry. But then, it will set you free. You think you are lazy. You think you lack discipline. You think successful people, the ones who speak perfect English, who go to the gym every day, who read 50 books a year, you think they have some superpower that you don't have. You think they have willpower. I am here to tell you, willpower is a lie. Disciplined people are not actually more disciplined than you. They simply don't use willpower. Using willpower is hard. It is like carrying a heavy rock up a mountain. Eventually, you get tired and you drop the rock. That is why you quit your diet. That is why you stop learning English. Successful people don't carry the rock. They change the mountain. If you are failing to reach your goals, I promise you, the problem is not you. The problem is your room. The problem is your phone. The problem is your kitchen. The problem is your environment. Today, we are going to stop blaming ourselves. We are going to stop trying to try harder. Instead, we are going to learn how to design a life where success is the only option. We are going to learn the art of environment design. But before we redesign your life, let's define the enemy. What exactly is willpower? Vocabulary Break 1. Word Guide. Hello. This is a very important concept. Let's break down the key words. 1. Willpower. Noun. Definition: the mental strength to control your desires and impulses. Example: it takes a lot of willpower to study when your friends are partying. 2. Environment. Noun. Definition: the surroundings or conditions in which you live or work. Example: a noisy environment makes it difficult to focus. 3. Blame. Verb. Definition: to say or think that someone or something is responsible for something bad. Example: don't blame yourself for the mistake, it could happen to anyone. Now, let's go back to Atlas to see why your environment is more powerful than your will. Let me tell you a story about my own failure. 2 years ago, I decided I wanted to read more books. My goal was simple: read 30 minutes every night before bed. I was motivated. I bought 3 new books. I promised myself, Atlas, you will do this. Night 1, I read for 30 minutes. Success. Night 2, I read for 20 minutes. Okay. Night 3, I came home tired. I sat on my sofa. And do you know what was sitting on the coffee table, right in front of me? The TV remote. I picked it up. Just to check the news. 3 hours later, I was still watching Netflix. I didn't read a single page. Night 4, same thing. Night 5, same thing. By the end of the week, I felt terrible. I told myself, Atlas, you are so weak. You are lazy. You have no discipline. But was I lazy? No. I was fighting a losing battle. My living room was designed for watching TV, not for reading books. The remote was visible. It was easy to reach. The book was on a shelf, in the other room, hard to reach. Human beings are lazy by nature. We always choose the path of least resistance. Resistance, or friction, is the key word here. If the friction is low, picking up the remote, we do it. If the friction is high, walking to the other room to get a book, we don't do it. So, I did an experiment. I didn't try to increase my willpower. I changed my environment. I took the batteries out of the TV remote. I put the remote in a drawer in the kitchen. High friction. I took my book and placed it on my pillow. Low friction. The next night, I came home tired. I sat on the sofa. I wanted to watch TV. I reached for the remote, but it wasn't there. To watch TV, I would have to stand up, walk to the kitchen, open the drawer, get the remote, find the batteries, put them in. Ugh. Too much work. So I went to my bedroom. And there was the book. Right on my pillow. To go to sleep, I had to move the book. So I picked it up. And since it was already in my hand, I read a page. And then another. I read every night for the next month. Not because I was disciplined, but because reading was easier than watching TV. This is the secret. Design your laziness. Make the bad habits hard. Make the good habits easy. Now, how does this apply to English? If you say, I want to learn English, but your textbook is under your bed, and your phone is in your hand with Instagram open, you will fail. You need to increase the friction for Instagram, and decrease the friction for English. But there is a scientific term for this path of least resistance. It is called the default choice. Let's look at this concept with our word guide, because it will change how you organize your home. Vocabulary break 2. Word guide. Let's learn the language of habit design. 1. Friction, noun. Definition: the resistance that one surface or object encounters when moving over another. In psychology, it means the effort required to do something. Example: online shopping reduces the friction of buying things. 2. Resistance, noun. Definition: the refusal to accept or comply with something, the force that stops progress. Example: the path of least resistance is the easiest way to do something. 3. Default, noun/adjective. Definition: a pre-selected option adopted when no alternative is specified. The automatic choice. Example: the default setting on your phone is usually bright, but you can change it. Okay, let's get practical. How do we apply environment design to learning English? We are going to hack your phone and your house. Hack number 1, the phone screen. Look at your phone's home screen. What is on the first page? Social media? Games? Messaging apps? Every time you unlock your phone, these are your default choices. Your thumb goes to them automatically. Change the environment. Back to Atlas. How can we change our default for learning English? Move all your social media apps to a folder on the last page. Make it hard to find them. Increase friction. Put your English apps, podcast, dictionary, flashcards, on the front page, right in the center. Decrease friction. Now, when you are bored and unlock your phone, the first thing you see is English. It becomes the easier choice. Hack number 2, the visual cue. A cue is a signal. It tells your brain do this now. If you want to practice speaking, you need cues. Post-it notes. Sticky notes. When I was learning Spanish, I labeled everything in my house. My mirror had a note, el espejo. My fridge had a note, la nevera. Every time I walked into the kitchen, I saw the word. I didn't have to study. The environment studied for me. You can do this too. But let's go deeper. Let's talk about the 1% rule, the compound effect. Because even if you change your environment, you might think, Atlas, reading 1 page a day is nothing. Learning 1 word is nothing. I need to study for 3 hours to be fluent. This is the second lie. The lie of big results. We think that to make a big change, we need to take big action. We think, if I want to be fit, I must run a marathon. If I want to speak English, I must live in London. Wrong. Small, tiny actions, repeated over time, are mathematically more powerful than one big explosion. Let me explain the math of the 1%. If you get 1% better every day for 1 year, mathematically, you end up 37 times better. 37 times. But if you get 1% worse every day, you go down to nearly 0. This concept is called aggregation of marginal gains. It sounds complicated, but it is actually a beautiful story about a cycling team. Let me tell you about the British cycling team. For 100 years, they were losers. They had won almost nothing. Then, they hired a new boss, Dave Brailsford. Dave didn't say, train harder. He didn't say, ride faster. He looked at the tiny things. He redesigned the seats to be more comfortable. He rubbed alcohol on the tires for better grip. He taught the riders the best way to wash their hands so they wouldn't get sick. He even brought their own pillows to hotels so they would sleep better. Tiny, 1% improvements. People laughed at him. How will a pillow help you win a gold medal? But 5 years later, at the Beijing Olympics, the British team won 60% of all the gold medals. At the London Olympics, they broke 9 world records. They didn't find a magic superpower. They just stacked hundreds of small, 1% habits on top of each other. You are the cyclist. English is the race. You don't need to move to London. You just need to change your pillow. You just need to wash your hands. You need marginal gains. But before I give you the list of 1% English habits you can start today, let's make sure we understand this powerful math. Vocabulary Break 3. Word Guide, welcome back. Let's look at the math words atlas used for success. 1. Marginal, adjective. Definition, very small, not very important at first glance. Example, there was only a marginal improvement in the weather today. 2. Compound, verb/noun. Definition, to add together, when something grows faster because the growth builds on previous growth, like interest in a bank. Example, compound interest can make you rich over 20 years. 3. Aggregate, verb. Definition, to combine different things into a single group or total. Example, the study aggregates data from 10 different countries. Now, back to Atlas. What are the marginal gains for English? Oh, we know the math. Small changes equal big results. But what does a 1% improvement look like for learning English? You can't just rub alcohol on your tires like the cyclists. Here are 3 examples of tiny, 1% habits you can start today. None of these take more than 2 minutes. The phone language swap. Change your phone's language to English. This is a classic tip, but have you actually done it? This is not studying. But every time you look at your screen, you see settings instead of IRLer. You see edit instead of desenel. You are exposing your brain to English 50 times a day, with 0 effort. That is a 1% gain. 2. The audio shadow. Don't try to watch a whole movie. That is too hard. Instead, listen to just one sentence from a podcast. Pause it. And repeat it exactly like the speaker. Do this once a day. Just one sentence. Over a year, that is 365 perfect sentences programmed into your mouth muscles. 3. The label game. Remember my sticky notes? Label 3 objects in your house every Sunday. Just 3. By the end of the year, you will know 150 household words perfectly, without ever opening a textbook. These are tiny. They seem insignificant. You might think, Atlas, this is too slow. But remember the bamboo tree. A bamboo tree stays under the ground for 5 years. You water it, and you see nothing. Then, in the 5th year, it grows 25 meters in 6 weeks. Did it grow in 6 weeks? No. It grew for 5 years. It was building its roots. To build your roots, you need a system. And the best system is called habit stacking. I love this technique. It comes from a researcher named B.J. Fogg. The formula is simple. After I, current habit, I will, new habit. You take a habit you already do every day, like brushing your teeth, and you stack the new habit on top of it. Old way, I will study English sometime today. Vague. You will forget. Stacking way, after I pour my morning coffee, I will learn one new idiom. The coffee is the trigger. You don't need willpower. You just need coffee. Here are my personal stacks. After I sit in the car, I will play an English podcast. I don't drive until I hear English. After I brush my teeth at night, I will read 1 page of a book. The beauty of this is that it removes the decision. You become a robot, but a good robot. A robot programmed for success. But there is a trap. And this trap kills 90% of English learners. It is called the Valley of Disappointment. Imagine an ice cube sitting on a table. The room is freezing cold. -5 degrees. You want to melt the ice. You start heating the room. -4 degrees. The ice is still solid. -3 degrees. Still solid. -2. Still solid. -1. Still solid. You have been working hard to heat the room. But you see zero results. You think, this isn't working. I am wasting my time. So you quit. But you were at -1 degree. You were so close. If you had waited just a little longer, to reach 0 degrees, the ice would start to melt. Language learning is exactly like that ice cube. You study for a month. You still make mistakes. You study for 2 months. You still can't understand movies. You feel like you are in the valley of disappointment. But you are just at -1 degree. Your brain is building connections you cannot see yet. You are building latent potential. If you quit now, you lose everything. If you keep going, you will hit the breakthrough point. Let's define these psychological terms before we finish. Vocabulary break 4. Word guide, don't give up in the valley. Let's learn these terms. 1. Stack, verb. Definition, to arrange things in a pile, one on top of another. Example, he stacked the boxes in the corner. Here, we stack habits. 2. Breakthrough, noun. Definition, a sudden, dramatic, and important discovery or development. Example, scientists made a major breakthrough in cancer research. 3. Latent, adjective. Definition, existing but not yet developed or manifest, hidden or concealed. Example, she has a latent talent for music that she hasn't used yet. Back to Atlas for the challenge. So, my friends, if you feel stuck, if you feel like your English isn't improving, remember the ice cube. You are not failing. You are just storing energy. Don't break the chain. Here is your challenge for this week. It is an environment design challenge. I want you to pick one habit stack. Just one. Look at your day. Find a habit you do every single day without thinking. Making tea? Putting on pajamas? Checking the mailbox? And stack a 1-minute English habit on top of it. Write it down in the comments like a contract. After I, old habit, I will, new habit. For example, after I eat lunch, I will watch one YouTube short in English. That's it. Don't promise me an hour. Promise me 1 minute. But promise me you will do it every day. Stop relying on willpower. It will fail you. Build a system. Trust the math. Be the 1%. I am Atlas. This is the English Leap podcast. Design your life, and the fluency will follow. See you in the next episode.